Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Let me see if this is. All right, let me just see. Can you hear me? Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Welcome, welcome. Hello. Yay! Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. All right, we got all these people talking. Let me see what everybody's saying. Sweltering Tucson. Yeah, you guys, it's like 100 and something degrees, right? Now here I see yes, yes. Yes, hi everyone. Oh my goodness, we have so many questions. We have so many questions. So I want to say hi to everybody. Reality is back. We hear. I should just say, I should tell everyone because we got a text today from our security team. I'm going to read it to you. Google, Apple, and Facebook had a data breach. 16 billion login credentials just got leaked. So we actually did change our passwords. It doesn't affect you all at all. But Google, Apple, and Facebook had a data breach. 16 billion login credentials got leaked. So you guys might take appropriate steps just to pass the word. We have taken appropriate steps, within silhouette patterns on everything. So just an FYI, it happens all the time. It's going to take them a long time to get through 16 billion contacts. So you have, you have time to do all this. All right. So everybody's good and happy and healthy and la da da. It's great to be here. It's great to, I wish I could see you all. It's great to see you all. But we're going to have some fun. All right. So here we get started. And again, I will keep checking to see who's asking questions. You thought I had been hijacked? Well, what happened? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm here. Your camera picture is not clear. 115 degrees. Is it not clear as it's ever been, or is it, maybe I can, hang on, try to clean it a little bit. Hold on. Okay. Is that better? Did that help at all? Could have been just some little dust or something settled on it. But anyway, we'll see if that's better. I just changed everything. I know, you guys. Sorry. Yeah, don't send the heat to Texas either. They've talked about that heat cloud that's kind of over some stuff. It's just kind of hanging in one place. I'm really glad it's not over Dallas. We're warm, but we're not that bad. Not like you all are. 95 is not bad, but it goes down to, high 80s next week, which is wonderful. Okay. It's not high res. Maybe I could get a new camera, you guys. Huh. Okay. All right. So let's get started because, like I said, we've got a lot of fun stuff, and I really want to, I hate to just take up so much time if I can get it all in. Okay. So let's get started. Just really, I think they're just great questions, you guys. I mean, you understand how I feel about the question answer concept. The question answer concept is imperative. It's imperative for us to move forward. For you to feel free to ask questions because it helps me see how you're thinking. So I really want to say this. I don't know why I struggle to say this, but I don't want anyone to feel bad because you're sending me the picture and you're sending me the question and you're asking the question helps everybody learn. And it's such a in my mind, it's such a sacrificial process that I'm very grateful. And I'm very grateful because, um, also when you all send the photo or whatever it is that you send me, I mean, there's many cases where I have to create it. Don't get me wrong. It saves me time, and that's very grateful too. It takes me hours to prepare for this, just to get everything together and yada yada. Not complaining about that, just saying that when you send the information, that really helps me. Okay, so we're going to start with photo number 1. Okay, and this is Craig's blouse, pattern number 425. She had sent me an email that said she was making, now, you got to keep in mind, my history is I made the pattern. I've made this blouse many, many times. I've been in workshops and many women have had this blouse. So I'm aware that these pieces go together very well. There's no issues. There's nothing with the pattern. So the email I get is the collar isn't the right size. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the pattern. And I know that pretty quickly, I know it's operator error. I don't ever say that back to you all, because who knows? Maybe it's something I haven't discovered yet. I'm definitely open to flaws. Is that a fair statement? And I'm well aware of that. No one needs to tell me that. I am well aware of that. Okay, so my response was, gee, can you send me a photo? Can you send me a photo? So she sends me this photo, and I want you to look at, and you may not recognize what's wrong, but there's 2 things that are wrong. Number 1, the band is put on wrong. The band doesn't go on like that. Number 2, the collar's upside down. So you can see that longer edge of the collar is on the outside rather than it should be on the inside. So these are just little things. And you know that a collar is very easy to flip around. It's very easy to put collars are style edge and neck edge. So they're very easy to flip. The neck edge is always notched, or we always notch it. And so I just want you to, I'm really grateful that she would send that, and she figured out what was wrong, and just very quickly she can move forward. Otherwise, what happens is you wad the garment up, you throw it into a corner, and you're like, oh, those stupid pattern companies, they're terrible. So this dialogue to me is very, very important for us to learn, for you to learn, for us to learn what you're doing wrong, all of those things. So I just can't say thank you enough. Okay, next one. Peggy, I hope you can help. I have a question about adjustments to pant muslins. When there is extra fabric below the crotch, but no extra fabric below the crotch, but no fabric that you can pull up at the full hip, how do you know if you need to add to the length at the hip line in order to take a dart at the full hip? Okay, so there's only 3 adjustments on a pant pattern. 3, that's it. Now, keep in mind that they are the crotch length, the little this shape thing, crotch depth up and down, and circumference. So I'm going to conclude from this email that circumference is out, because that's not the problem. The problem is there's too much fabric under the rear end. So when you have the U shape and when you have the depth, both of those problems typically happen together often. And you have to lower the depth in order to fix that U shape. And so what you're asking is, if there's extra fabric under the rear end and you can't seem to take that dart at the hip line, it's because the depth is too short. So you've got to lower the depth, and then you can go in and take that hip line. Okay? I think a lot of us, over these Q&As, we've gone over pants a lot. So there are several pant videos I've done, and if you don't get that, what I just said, go back to our channel, search for pants, pant fitting, and go in and just kind of review those 3 variables, length, circumference, depth, and I think that will help you. Okay, is there a way to lower a cowl neckline so it sits farther down from the neck? So I've drawn this out for you so that you can see, and the answer is yes. And I want you to kind of, she wants to leave more room for a necklace is what she wants. I want you to look at this and just imagine that, I should have done it in a different color, my apologies. The neckline. See the armhole and then the shoulder and then the neckline, that line across the top. That is the part that hangs down. So it would make sense that the longer that is, the longer it hangs down. And that's just it. So you pull it away from center front, you pull it away from the fold. You can see I've got the fold there. And you know, you could, if you tried on a cowl at the store, you could measure the neck edge from shoulder seam to shoulder seam and figure out how long that was. You could do that in half, and then you'd know exactly how far away from the fold line to pull that. Easy enough? Okay. Is there a way to fit the muslin yourself? Oh, I know. This is a new sewer. And she's saying she has certain patterns and she's wanting me to know which one to start with. I said, look, I would start with 195, but you know, you don't need to buy a new one to start. You could start with 323, 222. 222 is the keyhole, knotted keyhole. It has a French dart. It has all of those things, all of the things of the basic. So what she's asking is there a way to fit yourself? And of course the answer is yes. You don't have to have somebody. In fact, many times if we have somebody, we sit and argue back and forth about what we think it is versus what they think it is. We've got a video, a DVD called Fitting Yourself by Yourself. I would recommend that. Go onto our channel and search for Fitting Yourself by Yourself. I've done lots of draping. Can you drape yourself? Yes, of course. Sometimes what you have to do is you can see the problem, but you can't get to the problem. So you see the problem, you put one pin in there, you take it off, you make it smooth, and then put it back on to see if that solved the problem. And most of the time it has. Okay? Okay. I made 3024. Oh my God, best pants. Oh, good. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, 3024 is a great pattern. Okay. Okay, I want to go to this next picture. Sorry, you guys, I'm transferring between all these. She has a forward shoulder adjustment. Forward shoulder. What that means is you add length to the back and you take away length from the front. You do that at the sleeve, not at the neck edge. The neck edge doesn't change. Typically, the neck edge doesn't change. Just you add to the back, you take away from the front. So when you do that, you have to change the sleeve, and this is the sleeve adjustment. Beautifully done. You know, just beautifully done. End of story. The amount you add is the amount you added to the back. The amount you take away is the amount you took away from the front. You can see that it starts at the cap line, it goes to the hem, it tapers to nothing. Just beautiful job. Very nicely done. Okay, and all she wanted me to do was to check and to make sure she was actually doing it right. Beautiful job. Okay. You guys sometimes send some very kind, okay, and the best way to see that, are y'all there? Can y'all still hear me? I think my internet just gave me that it did a disconnection. Okay, y'all are still there. Okay, sorry. Okay, when you look at the back of these pants, and I purposely chose a plaid because this is where you really see it, is look at the front and look how straight that grain is, and look at the back and see those plaids converging. The plaids converging are telling you the shape of that center back seam. The center back seam has to be bias in order for it to fit the body. It has to be bias. Has to be bias. Okay. Okay, and sorry, you guys, I shouldn't be reading questions while I'm answering questions. All right, so so you can't do away with a center back seam. You need a center back seam, and this is a perfect case. You can take it away on a skirt, but you can't on a pair of pants. Okay? You know, and listening to that chat, you guys are reading those chat, it does take a long time to fit yourself. That's why a lot of ladies come to workshops. It's not that they don't know how to fit themselves, it's that they just want me to do it. And I totally understand that. I love doing it. I love draping. But that is why. But you can do it yourself. I don't want you to think you can't, because there's many who can't afford to come to a workshop. And not just the time, not just the money, just the time, period. Okay, I'm going to show you this next photo. She sent me this photo and I love this dress, love the print, love everything. She's asking me, does she need a rounded back adjustment? Now, I'm going to give you formulas. I can't tell. I actually can't tell. The garment itself, I can't see from the photos if she does or not. But I'm going to give her and you all a formula for if you need it, a rounded back adjustment. Okay? There's 3 things to look for. Now, this garment is going to be a little harder because it has no collar. Typically, you watch where does the collar point. And if the collar points into the back of your neck, it's good. If the collar points up to the ceiling, it's bad. You want to watch, because what the collar does is it exasperates the problem of having a rounded back. It exasperates the problem. It makes the problem more visual. Because this doesn't have any kind of collar, she's going to have a hard time determining that. But I'm going to give her 2 other. So the first is watch where the collar goes. What is the collar doing? The other one is the garment's going to pull to the back. So if you're wearing the garment and it pulls to the back, that's your indicator that it needs a rounded back adjustment. Even if you've given it a rounded back adjustment and you go to wear it and it doesn't feel good and it still pulls back, there you have it. You need more of a rounded back adjustment. Don't make it in the same place, enter into another one. And then also, and I can't see the shoulder seams, but typically those shoulder seams pull to the back also. But again, the most of it is how it feels, because it doesn't really matter where a shoulder seam is. But boy, when that garment, for those of you who have a rounded back, and you don't have to have a massive rounded back, remember it's always pattern versus body. It could be the pattern is just not got enough depth built into it, and that becomes the problem. You need more depth on your body. But if you put that garment on and if it pulls to the back, there's your answer. It's nothing. It's nothing that you can't tell. There's no secret to it. You'll feel it. You'll feel it. Okay, the next one is talking about 225, which is the 225 is the new pattern and skirt. It was from spring, and I put the skirt in with the top. Put them both in there together. And she's asking about the skirt, and the waistband has a seam at the center back. Where's that seam supposed to be? It doesn't matter. It can be at center back if you're making it out of knit. If you're going to make it out of a woven and you're putting in a zipper, then I would take an invisible zipper and put the seam to the waistband at the side so that you can put a waistband into that skirt at the side seam. So it doesn't make any difference where you do it. Now, what her problem was is that she made it in a fabric that was so lightweight that you could see through it. You could see through the skirt. She said it was far too embarrassing to wear. So I said, just make another one in a lightweight knit, corresponding color, whatever, and wear the 2 together, or sew the skirt part onto the bottom of that yoke and just line it. Like a lining, that's all. It'll still drape, it'll still hang, it'll still do all of that. She said, I would like to salvage this hot mess. Yeah, no, don't. Just take another fabric and either sew it, cut the skirt portion again and sew them together, or just cut a separate skirt and just wear it like you would a slip. I would probably cut another knit and I would sew it. So the band is 2 layers and then the skirt would be 2 layers. I think that would be just beautiful. Okay, that's just an opinion. Okay. I ran into issues cutting and sewing on the bias when I made the 600 blouse and the red stripe. All right, let's take a look at this because she sent a picture. Okay, so she said, I had quite the time to get the hem to be straight after getting in the front. I have made 2516 limbs bias skirt. That's the one that's on the right as you look at these pictures. And she just had a hard time. She had to work with it. She figured it out, but what'd she do wrong? Okay, so you didn't do anything wrong. Nothing. You did nothing wrong. And here's the fault and the problem. And in fact, I'm doing a show on this that contains bias, working with bias on PBS. Bias is a unstable commodity. It's like, it's hard to make a comparison because if I say it's like cooking and you put in 2 eggs, you could put in 2 large eggs or 2 small eggs and you'll still get basically the same result. I mean, it doesn't alter it. But when you take 2 fabrics, and in fact, I was working on this a couple days ago for filming, and I took 2 linens and I cut them both on a bias, and both of those linens had different amounts that they changed. They both changed, but they changed differently. So bias is literally like taking a ball and throwing it in the air. You just don't know where it's going to land. Oftentimes when they use bias in couture, they use it because they have no limits of time nor money, and they can spend all the time fixing it. But it is likely when you turn a woven on an angle, a bias, you're going to have some issues. Fusible interfacing there can stop it. A lot of times when you do that, one side will change more than another. So when you are deciding to do a blouse on a bias, you need to be aware and you need to say to yourself, I am going to have to probably spend some extra time in this. And I am going to probably have some issues. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to see it through, yada, yada, yada. It just takes some patience. It takes some seeing. Like you said, in both of these pictures, she figured it out, and I think they both look great. Just be aware that there's kind of going to be some tweaking, and there's going to be some problems, and there's, but I love bias. I love the way it looks, which is why we're seeing, and most of the time I will buy it. When I see a fabric that's straight a grain, but the print is bias, man, I just love that because it really gives us an opportunity to use bias without the headaches of bias. Bias is a great fabric. It's a great way to use it, but you didn't do anything wrong. Don't think you didn't do anything wrong because you absolutely didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Oh, y'all are talking among yourselves. Okay. Okay, yeah, y'all are talking among yourselves. Okay, I'll keep going. Okay, this next one. I was wondering if you had any instructions for making the 3-piece yoga pants into maternity pants. My daughter, who you're gracious enough to fit, and her husband are expecting. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, so what I would recommend, and we've done this many times, I know to tell you to go to the YouTube channel, but I don't know exactly where. But many women, as we age, we're not pregnant, but our tummies get bigger and our legs get like little tiny sticks. So we go from, say, a 20 in the tummy to a 12 in the leg. And I've showed how to cross over with a French curve, how to go from one size at the top to one size at the bottom, and you can easily do that for maternity. Be no problem at all. Very simple to do. Just know that you can do it, and you're going to do it from the waist to the hip. By the time you get to the hip, you're at the size leg that you want. And what you do is just go measure the tummy to figure out what size you need at the top, measure some pants that you wear to figure out what size you want in the leg, and then you can make that adjustment. When you get super pregnant, it's going to be a little harder. Depends on if you're dealing, but you said you're dealing with knit, so it should be really easy to do. Just know that it's allowed, okay? Okay, let's look at this. This is a screenshot that she sent me. When narrowing the shoulder, as shown here, and this is from a video. Plain Potatoes with Patterns is the name of the video. And basically what we're doing is we're switching sleeves and armholes and neckline. We're switching things. Plain potatoes with patterns is what we're doing. So when narrowing the shoulder, do I also need to change the sleeve, even though the sleeve fits fine? No, that's the beauty of using these templates. You're not making any change to the sleeve. The sleeve already fits this armhole, but you're free to put this armhole the 2 places you want it to be. And I can change and narrow the shoulder, and I can change the side seam. I can redraw that armhole. I don't make any changes to the sleeve whatsoever, and I am the happiest girl on the planet. Will your woven sleeve pattern for changing sleeves work for A&O Kimono's blouse? Yes, because A&O Kimono's blouse is a kimono. So you have to say, okay, where do I want my shoulder? You already know where the side seam is. And so you just put your template there and you create an armhole. Your template is an armhole. All you're doing is placing it on the pattern at the 2 points. What an armhole does is it connects the shoulder seam to the side seam. So all you're doing is using a template to connect those 2 points. Your sleeve already works. All right, I considered making a yoked back on pattern 600 with gathers. Would the lower portion be increased to 1.5 times the width of the yoke? Would the length of the yoke from shoulder seam be about 5 inches? So this is all styling. However, so I'm going to guide you as to how to determine these for yourself. If I give you answers, they're my answers, but then what I have found out is y'all don't like, sometimes you don't like my style answers. So just go shopping or go to your closet and find a yoke. Find the depth of it, and bam, that's where you make your cut. Then once you make your cut, do you want gathers all the way across? Do you want all the way across, I'm sorry, the whole time? Or do you just want gathers in the middle or a pleat in the middle? 1.5 to 1, yes, is a good, if you want gathers across the whole thing, 1.5 to 1 is the standard you would use. You could slash your back, add the gathers in, and you're good to go. All right, easy enough. Okay, we got sent a tank top, and so I'm going to actually put this up, and we're going to drape this on her, okay? She said, please help me. Love this. And she's a long way away, guys. Like, I'm not sure where she is, but this is a language that I'm not familiar with. Maybe French. Anyway, okay, so we're going to go from left to right. What I did in the first picture is I kind of highlighted just those wrinkles that are going to be there because we're not paying attention to darting. Now, in the tank top, there are darts, and there are vertical darts. And so, okay, so they're vertical darts. So for instance, those 2 vertical darts I did, I numbered them 1 and 2. If you just put a vertical dart in there, a waist dart, it would change it immensely. Like, it'd look so much nicer. On a tank top, because you have to get the waist over your bust, you don't want to make those darts too fitted or else you can't get the top off and on. But in this particular case, you could shape those and they would be beautiful. Now, there's number 3 that I'm pointing to. Can you see that, number 3? Okay, that is that because that dart is not big enough. Because the dart is not big enough, it's not taking up all that extra fabric. We see that again on the second picture. You can see that gap in her armhole. It's because the bust dart's not big enough. She did a beautiful job on the next picture as we move across to the right. The only thing is that sway back has to taper to nothing. I see the pinch, but I don't see it tapering. It has to taper gently to nothing at the side seam. If you take it up that amount all the way across, you're not fixing anything. You're just causing more problems. And then you notice on the last picture there where she pinned out that dart, isn't that beautiful? You can see that that cleans up the armhole. It doesn't matter the angle of the dart. This is a tank top, so it doesn't make a difference. She's done a great job, and you can see the difference. You know, I always say, what a difference a dart makes. What a difference a dart makes. Beautiful job. So use your darts. In all of these cases, if you notice, they're dart issues. But her shoulder seam is where it should be. It's good. It's close. She doesn't have a rounded back. I mean, all of these things. Just great job. Very great job. Okay, then I've got 3 final questions. I don't have any photos with them, but I didn't feel like I needed to. And so this is about a dress form. We have these dress forms for sale right now, and I put up a fit-to-stitch section, episode that we did on padding a dress form. In fact, Cindy Vance did it, and she did an amazing job, beautiful job. So she watched that, and that's called the Dress Form Formula, and that's on YouTube. It's free. And it was from, I don't know, a year or 2 ago. The question is, we used a dress form, when we were doing it on Fit to Stitch, we used the Princess Sheath dress, which was a knit, which is 42.18. But she's wondering if she should use the woven, which is 4,200. So should she use a woven or a knit? And the answer is, it is your call, but here's what you should base it on. Cindy, for instance, and we showed this in the show, the episode, she has a back that is, she's got scoliosis. So one side of her back is different than another side of the back. And sometimes in wovens, it does not show up, but it always shows up in knits. And that's where it kind of bugs her, is when something's closer to her body, that's where it starts to show up. So she definitely wanted it done in a knit so she could drape all that stuff and get away from those issues herself. Exactly like what we were talking about earlier, when you drape on yourself, it is difficult to get the back, especially like with her, where she has scoliosis. I mean, that's really hard. Okay, that's next level hard. Somebody else to come in and just boop, 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 it becomes much easier. So that's why we did that. That's why we used a knit, because she was trying to solve a particular problem. If you are not wearing any of your garments closer to your body, then you don't need the knit. The woven will work. But I'm going to say, like in my life, I'm going to use a knit because I want those garments. I want to know more what I am so then I can take it from there. If you use a woven, you're limited as to how confined you'll get the body. So I hope that answers that question and that it will help you on that. Okay, and I'm not checking, you guys. I should be checking questions. I'm sorry. Okay, these are just... Okay, we're good. Okay, I got 2 more questions, and I know we're going long, and I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, the question is, I'm finishing up pattern 3024. Oh, interesting that was mentioned. Pattern 3024, I noticed the waistband doesn't call for interfacing. Did I miss something? Should I go ahead and interface it? I'm a beginner intermediate sewer, and I wasn't sure if the waistband would work okay without it. So this is exactly what I'm saying to you guys. There's a lot of new people coming onto our channel all the time, which is what we want. We want to teach people to sew, and we want to help them in their sewing process. So, she thinks that interfacing has to be there. It's an integral part of the garment. Will it work or won't it? No. To answer your question, no interfacing is necessary. It wasn't left out. It wasn't an accident. It was purposeful. You don't need interfacing. If you think about why did you put it there before, most of you, the only reason you can come up with, well, because they told me to. But in fact, do I really want kind of a piece of cardboard going around my waist? The answer is no, I don't. It's too rigid. It's too stiff. I don't need it. I just don't need it. And on 3024 and on most of our pants patterns that I create, I actually narrow that waistband so that there's no need for this big wide waistband to cut us. We don't have a big wide space in the middle of our bodies. And so no interfacing is needed. You didn't miss anything. You didn't leave anything out. Now you know you don't need interfacing at the waistline. It is an option. If you just love it for whatever reason, I don't see that's a bad thing, but I would recommend against it. Okay, and our last one here is I'm interested in Fisher's pleated blouse, which is pattern number 418, and want to know how many darts it has. I like the bust and waist darts for a better fit. Okay, so 418 has a bust dart and weight in the front and waist darts in the back. The front doesn't have waist darts because it has a pleat down the front, and it's meant to hang loosely. You can't really put darts in with a pleat that's meant to hang loosely. It's kind of a conflict there. So if you are always in the mode that you want a garment that has darts in the front and in the back at the waist, you just pass on this style and say, gosh, I just don't think this is a style for me. If I have darts in the back, sometimes I like it to not have darts in the front because I just think it looks really good. It's just a change too. All right, I hope that helps. Okay, I sent a pic of 2054. 2054 or 3024? I'm not sure. Someone's having internet issues and everybody else is trying to help. I got that. Okay, you guys, how are we? Do we have any questions that I can answer? I know I always say it's going to be 25 minutes. We're 10 minutes over already. Sometimes I don't worry about the time, but I feel like when you sit down to listen to these, it takes a long time to get through the one you want. Okay? And I hate doing that. So let me know, what's your suggestion if you're not using interfacing in the waistband and you have a button? How would you reinforce the button? You don't need to. You don't need to. You already got 2 layers. How many layers do you want? I mean, you could cut the waistband longer and fold it in against itself, but you don't need any more than 2 layers. If you think about it, a front and a front facing is only 2 layers. I only need 2 layers for a buttonhole. I don't need any more. I mean, a lot of them are doing 1 layer, but you see a lot of unlined jackets and they are putting like a square and that makes the 2 layers. So 2 layers is adequate, and you always have 2 layers in your buttonhole anyway. Is it too soon to ask about the fall patterns? Oh, you guys are adorable. Yeah, you can ask about them. They're so cute. Um, we have PBS is next week. We have a photo shoot planned the week after that. I'm swimming with the sea lions right now. So yeah, I love that you're thinking of fall. We have some beautiful things planned for you. I'm very excited about the fall patterns. They'll go on sale end of July, beginning of August. And no, I mean, we've been working on them for a long time. You get to ask about them whenever you want. I love that you ask about them, I guess. Just I gotta shift my headgear. Now we've got some great patterns. I think we've got some great patterns. So, my goal is to always find them that are different. The ones that you ask for. I get a lot of pictures sent to me and a lot of things that you guys would like to see, and I appreciate that. Don't take it personally when we don't do them, because there's always a reason I don't. Either we've got something similar and maybe you don't recognize that it's similar, etc., etc. Okay. I've started budgeting for my fall patterns. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, you all. Well, listen, we're going to keep in mind what's going on right now. Our Serger giveaway has started. So our Serger giveaway, you can enter for $25, but you could buy a pattern for $25. So let me just tell you though that we are not where we need to be, but so many of you have donated, and I have to say thank you. I just have to say thank you for those who have. However, I want to say also, if you haven't donated and can, please do. Go to Fit to Stitch and do something. And truly, they say this often, $5, makes a difference. It does. Because, there's 500 people watching, 500 people, $5, that's quite a bit. So we really appreciate those donations. We are paying large bills that are being sent to us from Fit to Stitch, just to produce it all. We're very excited about it. We've got some amazing guests. I just talked to anyway, doesn't matter. I won't go into all of that, but there's just lots going on, and we're pre-selling the series right now. It's going to be exciting. It's really going to be exciting. If you're thinking about going to Paris, France, or Milan, Italy, get signed up. We can plan better. It's awesome. Did you give the Peggy giveaway? Yes, we did. I announced that Tuesday night. It's to a lady named Donna. I won't give her last name because y'all know that I can't give a last name. But yes, she has not acknowledged it. She has not acknowledged it. But summertime, it's a very easy thing that people are on vacations. And so very much so she could be, I'll give her another little week and then I'll email her again and we'll remind her. If not, we'll draw again for another. I don't think she's going to not respond. I mean, I don't think she's not. But yes, the Peggy giveaway was Sunday we drew. Actually, Monday we drew. I announced it Tuesday. But this Serger giveaway is good stuff. It's a couple $1,000s. And hey, if you don't want the Serger giveaway and you want to apply it to a Peggy giveaway, we're more than flexible, you guys. We appreciate who you are, and we're gonna help do whatever you want to do. Okay. So keep in mind, is my name close enough, Dawn, to Donna? Yeah, it's kind of close, but it's not close enough. They say it's close enough in horseshoes and hand grenades, but not in Peggy giveaway drawings. How's that? I love it. Good one, Don. Okay. Yeah, you only need 2 layers for buttons. Okay, you guys are the best. You know that. 3024. All right, so I'm going to say goodnight. I've got lots to do tonight. I'm just so excited about the next few days, and at the same time, I can't wait for a week from Saturday when filming is complete. You all know that. It's going to be awesome. I need a cover stitch machine. I need to make an order. Yeah. Everybody says I need a cover stitch machine. And even if you give $25, it still goes in. Even if you don't need the cover stitch machine. That's why I say if you win the cover stitch machine, you don't want it, or you have one, we'll go to plan B. We'll figure it out. All right, you all. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate you all being here. I love you. You are the best. You are the best. Oh, I want to just make sure everybody watching knows there's fabric tonight. 40% off. 40 fab through midnight. So 40 fab is your coupon. Use your coupon, get the fabric. There's linens, there's Oh my gosh, the fabrics are amazing. It's the time to go, okay? All right, we'll see you later. We'll see you Tuesday night. It's your Diane von Furstenberg Silhouette U 4019's a pattern. So if you get it made up, send me a photo and you enter into that drawing. There's a drawing for Tuesday night, okay? All right, bye.